little closer, madam. I want to tell you about something your children will love. Monster vitamins. They're fun. They're screaming meanie. Babbly bab. Monster Mobile. Monsters taste terrific too, Mother. Your children should get vitamins by eating right, but when they don't, Mother, Monsters and Monsters Plus Iron sure help. My children love them. Right, kids?
Right! Good old Vincent Price. I pulled that audio from YouTube where Nito Coolville posted the commercial, so you can go watch the actual commercial on YouTube. And yes, today on Crazy Kids Food Live, I am going to dig into my collection for stuff related to vitamins and toothpaste if we get to it. So, and I think we'll get to toothpaste. I'm feeling a little under the weather, a little bit of allergies or something. So, I might cut it short. I might not. We'll just see how we're going. But yeah, we're going to start with vitamins. We're going to start with my favorite vitamins. Well, my second favorite vitamins, but the thing I have the most of, which is Pal's Vitamins. And this is a really early box, kind of before they had the characters. So Pals came out, put out by Mead. You know, this box says new on it. It says available in bottles of 21, 60, and 100. I assume this is probably the 60. Does it say 60 on here somewhere? No, this is the 100. Okay, 100. And I mean, look at how cool those shapes were. The other thing I remembered, which I could not find in my collection, was that they also made these ones that you would go to the pharmacy and they were one-a-day vitamins, and they were this one's not faded. It's just catching the light kind of badly. They were in little foil packs, and to be a single vitamin, and they were little circus animals. And I have one of them, which I got from Randy Jones a million years ago. And for the life of me, I could not find it. So I'll share that some other time. So this is the first one, and as you can see, they were not super cheap, $2.77, which was a fair amount of money. And then, boom, here comes the character one with the Pals Clubhouse. This is a little later one, probably from, it says 75, because it's got the puppy on there. And you know, if it has the puppy on there, that means it's post about 74, because I think they added him in about 74. And you could say kind of similar backs, but the turtle was always kind of the I don't know if I'll call it spokes character, but he was sort of the guy who was always speaking or always sort of giving the information. And they made an actual full-size Pal's Clubhouse, kids clubhouse, out of cardboard, and that has shown up before. I've never had one, but I've seen 2 or 3 of them out there through the years. And then this one, actually, you can see I kind of cheated on this situation. This one I found, and all I found was the package with the soap still sealed on here, but amazingly, it still had this plastic. So I had a bottle, which I slipped in there because it's pretty close to the right size, and they'd written some sort of terrible price here, which I sort of cleaned off, kind of not that well. And that's the other thing. Be careful when you're trying to clean stuff off. It's not always fun. So we can see that this one has a nice attached soap. But you can see on the jar, the puppy's on there, but on this package, there is no puppy. This one, I do not see a date on it. And what does it say back on the back here? You can mail away for a Pal's Turtle Puzzle. An 8.5 by 11 picture puzzle and game. Okay. Which, with Pal's, there is a seemingly endless amount of premiums. My mom asked, did we get these? I don't think so. I don't ever remember taking vitamins as a kid. So my love of these are just based on how great the packages are, how great the characters are. Yeah, the only vitamins we ever got when we were kids were the ones that were free at the pharmacy, and you'd go in there. They had that really distinctive taste, and I loved them. And you know, it was kind of a free thing you would get out in the world, which was sort of character like, and so that kind of always appealed to me. And this is pretty much it on my Pals packaging. These things are incredibly rare, very hard to get. Super cool. And as you see, the turtle's still sort of on the back. And they changed the art when they added the puppy. And you can see they're a little more, I don't know which side's more primitive. They're both sort of primitive, but the owl I always think looks a lot cooler on the earlier ones. So that's it on the Pals packaging. Sadly, I would love to add more, but there's lots of other fun things. So how that thing was that was one thing I wanted to do before I move on. The soap, right? So it's got that vacuum form soap on there, and then I found at some point, whoops, got some hair going on here. Still got this hair going on here. Still got this hair going on here. Get off me, you stupid hair. Here's a figure of the owl. So my assumption is they made these at some point with a little vacuform plastic figure. And I mean, maybe it was just the owl. I'm assuming it probably was only the squirrel soap. Because, I mean, maybe they... And then here's the package set of soaps. So it's the same little squirrel soap there. And I mean, maybe they came with different soaps, or maybe they were all the same soaps when they came with the little owl. Maybe it was all owls, or maybe all the characters are out there. That's going to be a very hard collection to put together, because I don't even think they're marked. I don't think they're marked at all. So unless you find this figure and know what it is, or one of the other characters, it's going to be hard to sort out. So here's the soaps, which these I assume they actually just sold in stores. These are copyright 1970, so probably just appeared on the store shelves. And the funny thing about mine is it's got vacuform on it. It's got the plastic on there, but the cat's been used. So he doesn't completely fit in there. Oh wait, is the cat? Yeah, the cat's been used a little bit, I think. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I've always assumed he was used, but maybe he wasn't. I don't know. Or maybe I upgraded, had he used one before. I don't know. Pretty cool in this little foam container. And then at one point I also found this. This is from 72. Bath Pals, animal soap shape. It's the turtle and the fish. I don't think I've ever even tried to open this now that I think about it. I'm sure they're exactly the same as those. Oh, look at that. Yeah, they're all wrapped up nicely. Oh, look at this. Wait a second. Is this, oh yeah, that's the fish. Look how pretty that is. Look how pretty that little fish is. All perfectly been wrapped up in this, maybe forever. Maybe they came wrapped like this. I don't know. And the squirrel one's in the other side. Nicely, safely packed away. I found the cat plastic figure. Somebody gave me $100 for him. Yeah, so there it is. So Ken's seen the cat. I've never seen the cat. $100 probably seems like a fair price. I'd probably pay $100 for one of them. Don't tell my wife. Just because Pals is one of those things I still sort of try to collect everything, I don't look around as much as I used to. Somebody has some of the fan club kit stuff. I think David Newmark has some of the fan club kit stuff. It's just a coupon. And that, you can see that sort of newer iconic packaging. Oh, there's a plus iron. That's the other thing about these is there's the normal package, and then there's also a plus iron package. Now we're going to get into some of the fan clubby material. First, we start off with the patches. Usually the most common patch is this sew-on patch. And you can see that's the 5 primaries. There's also this 5 primary characters iron-on. And then there's a 6 characters iron-on. I don't think that there's a 6 characters cloth. But so these are all the patches. And with Pals, there were all sorts of club things, so I have no idea what actually ever came in the clubs, but that's sort of the three patches. We're getting through stuff pretty quick today. Then we have membership certificates. And here we have one. This one was ordered by Linda Mashek. Thank you for enrolling your child in the PALS Club. Educational. The PALS Club coloring and activity booklet is being created with these goals in mind. Throughout the year, we'll be making other stuff available. And so then we have the certificate on there. So it's probably you got the certificate and probably one of those patches and the booklet, which we'll get to the booklet in a second. And then here's another one. This one's been through the ringer. It's the puppy version. So we have the earlier version and the puppy version. And it's pretty much similar all around, but as you can see, they completely redesigned. The characters are completely redesigned. Squirrel looks different, fish looks different, the eyes are bigger, wider, the cat's head is smaller, the turtle's head is less square. I hate it when they less square up the heads of characters. It's just no fun. And so then the PALS activity book. I think I've got two of these. Let's make sure they're both exactly the same. It looks like they're exactly the same. Yeah, it looks like they're exactly the same. Your PALS Club coloring and activity book. And then inside stuff we have written by Barbara Shookhazen, illustrated by Joan Allen, copyright 1970. And inside you're just classic coloring, dot to dots. But it's nice because the art is all full character, all dealing with the characters. Birthday party. But nothing inside this doesn't look like. And the nice PAL song that everyone plays at every birthday party. And you can see, we're doing the clubhouse, which is really cool. So it's a fun little booklet. One of the more sort of generally common things that shows up. This is a big one. This is a big coloring poster, which we all loved to do when we were kids. This one's 72. So it seems like we kind of have 1970, 1972, 1975. So those are sort of our primary years. And this is, it's a 72, so it's pre-puppy. And then we have this, which is really cool. I mean, all this stuff's cool. But this one's in color, so that makes it better. This is your classic growth chart. So you'd slap this up on the wall. And then as your kid or kids grew bigger and bigger, you do that. We just, when we were kids, just by one of the rooms, my dad would take a pen and just mark us off on the. I don't think it was on the wall. I think it was on like a part of the door, and that's where, as we were all growing up. This one's from 71, so every year they were doing it, and I think the owl on this one that's like about one of the cutest of the owl, and the owl is always like sort of my favorite. Owl's always one. But this, they spent money on these illustrations. They hired good people, which is always nice when it's good looking stuff. Then we have the stickers, Ricky Ticky Stickies, which actually we'll see where you can order these in a little while. And I actually have I have one of the cat that someone had peeled off. And somebody was selling these on eBay for like $100 for a sheet of stickers, which $100 for a sheet of stickers seems a little egregious to me. That's just me. Now, there we go. I was wondering what happened with that. I got this a little mixed up. Now, this is a coupon for the PALS Club Learning and Laughing Letters, which I have no idea if I think somebody had these. And so, as you can see, it's missing something, but I just have the little order form. And then I do have a couple of PALS Club News, which is a little flyer. This one is, I don't see a date on the front. Here's the back. Oh, and here we go. There's that big poster. So maybe the poster came with this one. Oh, and here we go. Oh, yeah, this is good stuff inside. And as you can see, there's the clubhouse. Boom, clubhouse. Oh my God. And you can enroll a friend in it. Here's a club. And you can get your own Life-Size Pal Clubhouse free for just 2 Pals packages and $2. So they weren't kidding around. And, look at the great art on this. There's all the characters. They weren't kidding around with this stuff. They really spent a bunch of money on all this stuff. And for years. They didn't do it, in 1970 and go, oh, this is not working. They did it year after year after year. So maybe we could track down Mr. Frank K. Myers and say, hey, what's up with that? If anybody knows Frank K., get him on the horn. Ask him. So this is another Pals Club news, published just for fun. Doesn't seem like they sort of date these things. This is a puppy one, so it's, but we have this. And this one's all about growing and gardening stuff. And we're going to see what's got to be one of the very hardest Pals things to ever find, the Pals Farm. So basically it's just one of those kits where it's just some seeds and some soil, and a kid could make a planter, but they printed up this nice little backdrop, which would have just been slammed into that box, and you could get at Pal's Farm. I would like one of those. I would definitely like one of those, in addition to wanting my own farm. But they're just great illustrations. And what's this? This whole I should know all this. The owl's name is Hoot. The squirrel's name is Nutty. The fish's name is Fanny. Okay. And the owl's just telling about soil. So that's so super cool. Yeah, Pals. And this one went out to, who'd this go out to? Fred Kramer in Flushing, New York. Thanks, Fred. Name the Pals puppy and be a TV star. 1,000 runner-up winners get this watch. So that's you who are going to be a star. And then here's all the contest info on how to name the Pals puppy. I guess I should have gone on YouTube and tried to track this commercial down. Haha, I could have. And so that's, it's like all this and a commercial, and they made these watches all to sort of promote that thing. The watches, they must have made more than 1,000 watches, because these watches do show up. I've maybe had a couple of them, and it doesn't seem like they're that valuable. And then here's like a Pals Club envelope, which somebody's done some math on. And this was Darlene Sanderson and Reading Michigan. So that's the thing about a lot of this stuff, is it, has people's info on it. Thank you, people. This one is another book, coloring activity game book. Looks like we're pre-puppy here. Made by Whitman, 1970. That is a weird... Look at that turtle. That turtle is... I guess he's looking at the fish. That's some weird perspective going on there. We can only imagine how much, Whitman spent on these kind of things. They're just like, another crap project. But this one's interesting because inside they actually have some things you could order, including the mug, which is pretty out there. I don't have one, because anything like that I've gotten rid of for the most part. The Ricky Ticky Stickies. So the stickers that we showed you earlier on, or I showed you, boom. This is how you got them, or at least this is one way you got them. And then lastly, in here, the Captain Kangaroo Pals book, which I have somewhere. It's a book and record. I have it somewhere. Oh, here we go. This is super interesting. This shows us something I hadn't thought about. boom, there's a picture of the Pals box in 1970. So even whilst this box was coming out and promoting these dudes, they weren't on the box. So, that of course lends the question, oh, so this is free with the purchase. So you would have bought this and you'd have got this. And then this will lead you to buy more stuff. That's the math. And that's something I'm always kind of looking for. Is I'm always looking to sort of piece the whole puzzle together. How did you get this thing? How did it get out there in the world? Here's a nice little animation cell of all the characters. And that's nice. Animation cells, always sort of doing that connection. And then we have some ads. Here's your Pal's puppy. This one is from Family Circle, 1975. So Pals were still going along nicely in 75. So maybe 75 was the end. It was interesting. I was talking to Jason. We were talking about something. We were talking about Libbyland. And he did a search on, there's like a website that has all the newspapers and they can search everything in there. And he was looking through there and he thought Libbyland might have kept going till like 78 or 79. When it always seemed like they petered out in like 74, 75. And you don't know some of this stuff. Sometimes if certain types of stores or certain regions are still ordering it, they just keep making it. They stop promoting it. They stop pouring money into it. But they just probably let these products keep on cruising along until they cruise below whatever sort of profit level it is. And then they give them the old boot. So there might have been kids buying Libbyland in 77, and we know for a fact that like the Monster cereals, I believe the Monster cereals were always sort of looked at as like this sort of inexpensive brand from what I understand. And so there were, in some grocery stores where it was lower income, they kept making Monster cereals long after most people had thought they'd disappeared completely. And now Target, has brought the Monsters back, and now the Monsters, I don't know if they're there all year, but every Halloween the Monsters come back and you see them, you're like, there they are. So I don't pay that much attention to current cereal stuff, but it's interesting. Here's one where we got everybody. We got the Monsters and the Pals. So we got a nice coupon. And these are like family. This is, here we go, 1977. So Pals kept on rocking along into the mid to late 70s. I don't know why I'm showing you the back, but these all come out of Family Circle. So they were selling to moms. I'm sure with something like this, it's a more expensive product. So I guess probably, and it's not, back then, vitamins were like, shall we say, a luxury item. So maybe they were a little more high end. Because I remember when we went to the pharmacy, went to the Rexall, it always felt expensive. It didn't feel like, going to the 7-Eleven. It always felt like a little more. So here's the Vincent Price ad. Okay, let's put my hands so I'm not covering Vincent. For Monster Vitamins, which was also made by whatever the hell. I don't even remember. Mead Johnson. Thank you, Dan. What a professional. And they hired Vincent Price. This one is from February 75. Probably from Family Circle. Oh, no, Women's Day. So if you want to get this ad, just buy the February 75 Women's Day issue. Usually on eBay. So Monster Vitamins. When I started collecting Monster Vitamins, top of my list. That is a thing that I wanted to find. And I've had a few other really interesting Monster Vitamins things. I had a piece of concept art. I had like a record at one point. Maybe it's just those two things. Maybe there's a third thing that I don't have anymore. But the thing that I cared about, because of who I am, is the packaging. Oh, at one point I had the bigger bottle of the blue box. And here we have the blue box. The purple box is the with iron one. It's got a little stain on it, sadly. But, you know, come on. That's some key packaging. You know? Nothing on the bottom. On the back. Not a lot of words for what this is, you know? Like monster food stuff is always it's always kind of a cut above, you know. And in our big battle of the advertising character brands, Monster cereals were number 2. Quisp was the only person that only creature brand character that could beat him. You know, we have the characters there. We have the characters spread out over the box. We have the characters on the back. So we have all the characters onto the box 3 times. What can I say? So I also have this very sad with iron. 30 extra tablets is a bigger box. And it's the same pretty much. Just has a little more but it's purple. This is probably the better looking box, I think. Well, I don't know. I mean, how do you say better looking when it comes to Monster Vitamins boxes? I don't know. Because they're pretty fantastic. So those are the boxes. Set them down here. And, you know, this one's got a big stain on the bottom where it leaked and did all sorts of terrible things. And then these are the bottles that were inside. And I think I did these on another video, but, you know, you can't show these guys off enough. So this is the 60 tablets, which would have gone in the turquoise-looking box. And then this is the 90 tablets with iron. And as I remarked on that one, it's like these ones, you know, they're all pretty good looking in there, but these ones are all purpley. Well, it's because they have iron. That's why they're purpley. Good job, Dan. Went too far on that one. And I mean, it looks like they didn't do a green pass on these. They just chose to save money on the bottle labels. They didn't do a pass of green. Nito Couville, I traded you the iron ones for the regular burger. Yeah, so we did. I guess I traded with Nito Couville because he wanted a nicer, and I didn't have a purple, so we did a deal. So I guess that's where my other one went. And then the other really nice thing that turned up, which I think Brandon Waffle Whiffer clued me into these, is masks. So these would have been some premium masks. And they have the names at the bottom. Creaky and Sneaky. Fedorable. The Blob. Wait, was Screaming Mimi in there? She must have been in there. Yeah. Wait, maybe the guy in the car wasn't in there. Maybe he wasn't. Gorgonzola. What's the car guy's name? The Blob. Fedorable. Yeah, the guy in the car's not in there. I don't remember what his name is. So it's really kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who am I missing? What am I forgetting? Gorgonzola. Screaming Mimi. Oh, she's not on there. I don't know. So the car guy didn't get a mask, probably because he's in a car. And so those are really cool and very much fun. So that is the end of. Oh wait, one more Monster Vitamins thing. I should probably show that. This is a cell. Well, it's a cell. So the back is, the Monster Vitamins thing is not fake, but it's like just a photo. Monster Mobile. There it is. Cells are hard. And so, it looks like they were coming out of the box and jumping around. Cells are a pain. So that's basically Monsters and Pals. That's the good stuff. That's the, there it is. That's why I'm here. I mean, I'd love to find some more, but you take what you can get. Now we're gonna look at a few more vitamins things. We're gonna start with let's go to Chocks. Chocks is probably the more well remembered vitamin. That's when people think of kids' vitamins. Chocks is usually the one, and Chocks was pretty. I don't know if I say generic, but these early ones are not that fantastic. And I'm sure a lot of these, things like this that show up is every once in a while they find old drugstores. And the drugstores are packed with stuff. And so they will find this kind of stuff just sitting on the shelf still. I mean, I'm sure some of the stuff comes out of abandoned houses, but this is, when I think of kids' vitamins, I think of this, this stopper top. Oh, that, keeps it all sealed up. So those are cool. And then Chocks also had the little sun character as their character. This one's a little faded, probably because it was out in the sun somewhere for a lot of years. Contains no cyclamates, which is interesting. This one's a guy that collected just stuff related to cyclamates. So I don't know and so this is with iron. So that probably was a different color one. And then these are Miles' laboratory, and then those were Mead Johnson. So Miles did the Chalk stuff. And as you can see, not punched. 60. Still got them all in there. Not leaking. Keep out of the reach of children. Children's vitamins keep out of the reach of children. Probably because we would have eaten them like candy. That's the way it is with kids. We're a problem. And then this Chocks has Charlie Chocks on it, who was the Chocks character at a certain point. Not seeing any date on this one. And they made a Charlie Chocks doll, which, if you collect rag dolls, which I did at one point, I had a huge rag doll collection. Rag dolls are, at least in advertising collecting, are the dolls. They're screen printed cloth and sewn together. So they're just two different pieces of cloth that are screened together, kind of like the funny face pillows. And those are usually referred to, at least I've always referred to them as rag dolls. Here they refer to them as rag doll. And it's pretty common out there. And look at weird Charlie Chalks sort of spaceman. And I have some buttons. See, that's the thing, is he's called Charlie Chalks. Where's the other thing? Okay, here's the other thing. And they had like a sort of weird early Charlie Chalks character who was, I don't know what he is. I don't know if he's a vitamin or I don't know what he is. And then the 10 rules of just stupid bike safety. So who cares? Yeah, and there's a button of him. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. As with all these shows, I try and pull everything I can, and I usually go through most all my boxes. But, there's always a few things that are elusive to my fingers, and yeah. So this one's, I don't know. I used to have the ragdoll, like I said, but this is what I love. It's like, here's the package, here's a picture of the ragdoll, good enough. There's a newspaper ad for the ragdoll. I don't think I went through the newspaper ads for this show. The newspaper ads. And then there's also a thing that they made called the Charlie Chalks Bathysphere, which is a underwater, what a bathysphere is. It's a metal underwater vehicle that drops down into the water. Then you go down to the bottom of the ocean, then you look outside and you see the sea creatures. And so basically it's just a printed tent that goes over a card table. And I had the bathysphere at one point, and I got rid of all that kind of stuff, but I was like, I'll save the instruction sheet. So, person who I sold my bathysphere to, I apologize. I've got the instruction sheet here. You can't have it because I'm keeping that. Um, Flintstones Vitamins, probably the most known / common of the vitamins. I don't have a lot of stuff on Flintstones Vitamins just because I just don't have a lot of stuff. But this is the key, and this one came out of a box of somebody found a couple of cases still full of these, probably out of a drugstore, and there each one had 8 or 10 of these in there, and I bought like the empty case and like 3 or 4 of each, and there were 2 sizes. I don't think I've ever had the pink version, the iron version of this one. But this is great because it's got the mug offer, which those mugs are everywhere. So they were made by F&F, the plastic company that did the funny face mugs and almost all the kind of mugs like this. And so, once again, it's like, I don't need to own those stupid mugs. It should take up a lot of room. I can just own this one thing. And then these ones are a couple of later ones. This one says 71 on it, but it's later than, these ones are later than 71. These are probably like 77, 78. And this one has Pebbles Bam Bag mugs. So there you can get them all. 75 cents a set. Oh, 1975. So this one's from 75. So these are cool. But, these ones came from a refunder, and so they're pretty... Yeah, this one's actually pretty much all there. Oh, okay, that one's all there. Whoops, put down that flap too. Yeah, so, just builds up pretty good. Pretty good looking. What can you say? Let's see if this one builds up. Oh, this one's pretty close too. I think I had a number of these, and I just kept the couple of nicer ones. But you can see, already all we got's like that much Fred on it. And let's look at how cool they were. Yeah. And then all these other AIM, which we're going to get to Toothpaste. Moonstones, Kimbees, I've never heard of those. Flintstones, some sort of, not flea medicine, but mosquito repellent, and looks like a body bath shampoo and lotion. And yeah, so a lot of times this kind of stuff I'd get from refunders in some of those refunders boxes. Does anyone know who the artist designers were? Ha ha ha. One of those classic questions people often ask. Who designed all this stuff? And the answer to that is typically no one knows, no one will ever know. We've heard some of the names of the people that worked on Funny Face. We know Mel Crawford worked on Twinkles. We know Jackie End designed the Freakies. We know like the post-serial stuff that I did a couple weeks ago. That was all done by Robert Travers and his company. And but it's like these guys are dead for the most part, as far as I know. And they can't parse out like, well, I worked on that, because a lot of these stuff were worked on at ad agencies. And so in a lot of cases, what would happen is you might have a concept guy go through there and be like, here's this rough. And then they might hand it off to a guy that cleans that up. Then they might hand it off to a third guy. In a lot of cases with all that post stuff, they handed it off to some painter, who might have been Mel Crawford. But, all those Linus paintings, somebody who was a super pro gouache watercolorist went through and did those drawings. And so, the chain of design, who knows? And we'll deal with this at one point. Captain Crunch was done by the J. Ward Studios. Well, I have 20 drawings from the Ray Patton studio that were done there, which were their pitches for Captain Crunch. So Captain Crunch was probably pitched by 5 or 6 companies, and they picked J. Ward to go with. So, and the amount of artists working at Ray Patton, will do Ray Patton one or 2 days, because there's a big box of that stuff. They worked on Kellogg stuff with Yogi Bear and some stuff like that at one point. They worked on Sugar Pops Pete. So, who knows where all the design came from. Tracking down like individual, a lot of this stuff, it's not a singular artist. It's a company. and it's it's a design company. Maybe it's whatchamacallit, Leo Burnett. Leo Burnett did have the Kellogg's thing for a million years. Would I be surprised if they had 20 different people over the course of 5 to 10 years working on it? I would not be surprised if 20 people worked on that stuff, because that's how it worked. That Leo Burnett would be farming it out to other people. I mean, I know this is digressing from where we're at, but that's the thing about it is the artistic endeavor it's more like the filmmaking business or something like that, as opposed to, singular artists creating personal masterwork. I think we were talking, oh, here we go, Neil Kuvel. Joel Wiener helped create Pals and Monsters. His son David was the editor of Famous Monsters and now director of In Search of Darkness doc. There we go. So he, Todd says he helped create them. So who knows, and I mean, we had that one woman's name in the one book. At this point, Whitman was doing these. Who knows what that means, And I mean, yeah, with the Pals, illustrated by Joan Allen. So in the case of this book, they probably went to somebody who was a real kids book illustrator, and got it out there. Yeah, the truth is out there. Sadly, a lot of this stuff is never going to come out because it's just lost to the annals of time, and it is a group effort. So like saying like a movie was, who the director is, but is the director the whole thing? There's so many deep things. Have you ever seen the Pals Puppy wristwatch? Yeah, I held it up earlier. There it is. Like I said, I think I said this when I held it up. I think, people may ask $100 for them at times. I think that's probably a $40 or $50 item, typically. His son David told me he brought home all the premiums for him to play with. Yeah, and that was the thing is, this Joel Wiener helped create them. He might have worked as part of the advertising agency, and they would farm the different things out in the different directions, and to sort of with these sort of iconic designs, sometimes like with animation stuff you can track it down to the exact person. But my internet cut out. Oh, you missed it. It's really a group effort with this kind of design because it has to go through such a process. And that each different company has a lot of different people working for it, and that's I think that's one of the things that makes it so interesting, is that you get that, as opposed to that singular artist doing a singular magical thing, you get that group mind, which is why movies are incredible, is because it's not just this one person making all the decisions. This one's the polyvisal circus one, which is just in bits. If I let go of it, it pops apart. I would love to find a nice one of these with the header and everything, but this thing came out of a scrapbook. And so I just have like these pieces, and in that scrapbook was also this little weird circus thing. And then here's another circus-shaped polyvisal. I showed this on one of the other shows. Very boring, very stupid. And here's a Chocks Bugs Bunny. So at some point, Chocks was like, "Okay, let's hire Bugs Bunny and put him to work." That is one more vitamins thing. This is what is this? This is a little container guy, and if you ever see containers like this, it has a little thing there, and I think this was vitamin drops. So you would just there's an article in Famous Monsters about monster vitamins. Wow, I've never seen that. I would like to see that. Sometimes the group mind creates a bland porridge. Well, yeah, of course. That's the way most things created out there are not very interesting, hence polyvisal. And that's the thing. It's about, with advertising, usually it's about money spent. So that's why the Kellogg's boxes are incredible, is because they were paying Leo Burnett, and Leo Burnett is not cheap. You know, so great design firms turn out great design. Great designers turn out great design. Paul Rand and all these kind of people. You know, you go to the J. Ward Studios, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get a bunch of great stuff. And so, you know, but once you stop spending money, you end up with this, which is a photo of a kid. And just really terrible. And most design nowadays is absolutely terrible because people don't want to spend money on design. Surprise, surprise. You don't want to spend money on design, you're not going to get great design. Which is sad. Which is really sad. Now we're going to do a little bit of toothpaste because I don't have a lot of toothpaste. Mighty White with Great Zeeth, who is this very strange character. Nice little monkey cutout on there. And once again, I think toothpaste is another one of those products that you don't have a lot of things. They don't try and sell a lot of toothpaste to kids because kids don't want to buy toothpaste. This one is a Fight the Cavity Creeps kit, which you were probably given at the dentist. Herb Trimpe did the art for this. There's commercials. There's also a coloring book, which I have somewhere, I think. I think I still have it. But this is, you know, this is what I think is really cool because it's like, here it is. This is a box with a Herb Trimpe creation thing on it. These are Amident toothpaste, and they have these cool little whoops, I think it goes this way actually. I messed it up. Oops, let me fix it. Maybe it goes, oh, I don't know what's happening now. Now everything is falling apart. So Rocket Ship, and he comes out on the back. He's looking at the moon, and then there's a bird. And this is another dental kit. Now this one's just half of one. And there's like witches on there. I don't think I've ever seen the other half of this one. So this one has a clock. Brush every day. And so once again, these ones are kid related because they were given out by the dentist. And then you'd have your nice Amident toothpaste, which can do the Jason of shaking a thing. It's turned kind of hard inside there. Oh, this is vitamins. An old one a day. The original toothpaste character. Bucky Beaver. Brusha, brusha, brusha. Get the new Ipana. It's dandy for your teeth. Bucky Beaver. That is not how the song goes. And this is a little fan card. Little photo fan card of him. Which is super, super cool. And I think most of the rest of this... Oh, let's do this one. And then we'll... This one's super cool. AIM toothpaste with a Smokey the Bear doll offer. And there's the Smokey the Bear Dakin. So that's pretty funky to find Smokey the Bear Dakin on an AIM toothpaste box. And that's for about $75. And our last big character we're going to be covering is Tuffy, or Happy Tooth, or Tuffy Tooth. I think he started as Happy Tooth, and then he became Tuffy Tooth. And this is the Colgate character. And then this one's from 69. This one's from 81. So the character was around for a long time. And this is the puppet. This is a card game. And here he is as Happy Tooth in this booklet. And here's something I would like to find. A poster of Race Up Molar Mountain. Never seen that. And the art on this one's from 78. Does this really say 69? Yeah, this really says 69, but I don't buy it. This looks like it's from like 1975. I'm not wholly convinced. And this one says 78 on it, and I would have thought it was earlier than that. And the offer expires 83, so I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. But this one has like great art. And if someone was a real pro comic book art guy, they might be able to figure out who this artist is. Oh, Todd remembers the Cavity Creeps. But this art is really distinctive. And I don't know. There's something there. If someone was a real aficionado of comic art, they might be able to figure that out. So this is Tuffy Tooth and Cavity Land. This one is from '69. I have the feeling they made this book for a lot of years. And this art also is pretty it's pretty distinctive, but it's not quite as nice as that other one. Although actually I really like all this art. This art's really fun. So maybe one of these days I'll photograph all this and put it up on Instagram. Oh, because there's, like Yellow Submarine, Here We Come. This is some pretty tripped out stuff. God bless 1969. And we've got 2 Tuffy Tooth records. This one. And this one. I think this one's a little more, and they're like flexi disc. I think this one's a little more common. This flexi disc is coming loose. Nice art on the back. And as you can see with all this stuff, there's 4 or 5 different artists, I would guess, working on all this stuff. So, trying to figure out who the ad company was, who the artists were that worked on these things. Here's the mailer for the record. Would be a wonderful, monumental task. And if someone wanted to spend the time to try to track these guys down, how you would do that, I have no idea. I would. That is a blog I dream of reading, where we track down. Oh, so here we go. So you got the puppet, you got the book, and you got a button and all that other stuff. The Tuffy Tooth kit. Wait, what's that? Oh, we didn't do the Tuffy Tooth kit. We're still gonna do that. Here's a Colgate thing. Yeah, I mean, I love hearing the true stories of the artists that did this stuff. I love that. One of the guys that was big designer on Funny Face is still out there floating around. Really nice guy named Hal Silverman. And I talked to Hal a bit, and he worked on a bunch of interesting stuff. He worked on the Trix Rabbit, and he worked on... Did he work on the Cocoa Puffs Kids? But he was working on General Mills, and so he worked on that stuff. So there's still a few guys out there. I haven't heard from Hal in a few years. I hope he's doing okay still. So then this is one of those kits. What's in there? Oh, let's see. There's stuff in here. Oh, so here's... Ooh, look at this. I should have pulled this out earlier. Oh my god, this is beautiful. See, this shouldn't be in that box. Because a lot of times what I'll do is I'll pull this stuff out of the boxes, but sometimes it gets kept in there. So this is a Tuffy Tooth dental kit, which looks like it would have been mailed to somebody. Here's the rules. Here's a neat little thing to keep track of everything. Inside is a little Colgate. These terrible tablets you put to make your mouth all red. This thing. And your dream Tuffy Tooth toothbrush. Guaranteed to tear up your gums. So that's Toothpaste. Tuffy Tooth is the main guy. And the last thing I want to do, we're right on schedule, is talk/look at one of my favorite characters of all time, Timer. It's time for Timer. Timer was a character. Please tell me if you're going to hit Burger Chef one of these days. We can do I have some Burger Chef stuff. I sold a lot of it, but I still have some stuff. I'm going to do a fast food. I'll do fast food one of these days. I still have a bunch of the Burger Chef trays. I actually have some decent Burger Chef stuff. This is Timer. Time for Timer was a series of Todd remembers those horrible tablets. They did a series of Saturday morning little interstitial things. They also did a couple of, I don't know if they call them movies, but specials that were after school special kind of things that were like 22 minutes, I think. And so he would talk about nutrition, your body, and health. And time for Timer, wagon wheel of cheese, and so of Timer stuff, here's the one piece I found, a cell, and I found one cell. It was hanker for a hunk of cheese, a slice of slab or chunka. It was, and we've got a background, so they pulled a background. But it was in this like those animation guys, they just have stuff, and there was a total of one, and one, and I bought it, and I love it, and it's like my one piece of timer. And so I thought we'd end on health, that sort of timer as a sort of health thing, because he's one of my favorite characters. And that's the thing about some of these weird characters is you don't have a lot of options for collecting some of them. If you want to spend your life looking for timer stuff, you could end your life with 0. Because I'm going to probably end my life with 1. So that's vitamins and toothpaste. You came here for this stuff mainly, I would think, because this is the primo stuff. Primo. But hopefully we saw some other cool things along the way. Bucky Beaver. I would love to find some other Bucky Beaver stuff. Probably found this 30 years ago and haven't found another Bucky Beaver thing. Not that I've Timer had a TV special. I think he had 1 or 2 TV specials, I believe. I could be wrong, but I do remember there was a more, I keep thinking feature length, but as a it seemed like feature length as a kid. It started as a special about health. Saturday morning cartoon interstitials came later. Yeah, was it just 1 or were there 2? That I don't know. Some of this stuff is on the YouTubes. I don't know if either of those is. None of the commercials are on there for sure, of varying degrees of. The first had the girl from Escape. See, Jason, God bless you. God bless your knowledge. God bless everybody's knowledge. Thank you to everybody who chimes in and tries to put together some more of this information, because I've paid a lot of attention, but my brain cells are dying faster than they're being made. Actually, brain cells are never made, I don't think. So I think we're all suffering from the death of brain cells pretty much constantly. Good way to end a show. So yes, I'll do. I mean, if you saw the list of all the ones, I think I have enough stuff to keep going till about October. Where was the list? Oh, here was it. Yeah. So I've got all this stuff for Krazy Kids food, and then I'm gonna do then when it's not food, I'm going to do Krazy Kids stuff. So Ray Patton, Imagineering, holiday stuff, Disneyland stuff, Storybook Parks, Paul Frank. Did I have, fast food's on here. Fast food might be 2 episodes, Candy and gum are going to be at least, candy maybe 2. But next week I'm going to do holiday. Since I should have been doing holiday today. So next week we're going to do 4th of July and Easter holiday, because I like that stuff. I used to have a gigantic collection of that stuff, and then I pared it way down, and now I have a nice collection of which everything I love. So that's the way I like to do it. I like to get, and that's, as you can see with these collections, everything in them is stuff that I love. It's what I consider the good stuff. It's the stuff that I really enjoy. It's stuff that's all really graphically interesting, and I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff that I think is less. Fast food will be fun. I have I have a really nice Jack in the Box sign collection, which showed up on eBay, which I love. And I still have a bunch of Burger Chef. We bought a giant Burger Chef collection at one point that had, I don't know, 30 or 40 of the meal boxes, plus a bunch of other interesting stuff. And so I still have a bunch of interesting stuff on that. So maybe I'll do fast food in a couple weeks. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for talking in the chat. My voice is about to go out, but it's been good being here with you guys. And we'll see you in about a week. I might be switching back to Mondays. I don't know. If you like Sundays better, let me know, because I've been shooting another show on Saturdays, which is another 2 hours, which is not a live show, which will be premiering in a little while. So yeah, doing 2 shows in a row. Now I'm just talking and talking. So just leave a quick note if you're more interested in Sunday or Monday. And, they're always going to be available on demand on YouTube, because YouTube is very wonderful. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.